Many a guitar player through the ages has toiled away hour after hour on the typical and played out descending 4's scale pattern sequence. You know the one. But the honest truth is, it's been done to death, and frankly, it's really hard to play at high speeds. So on today's lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to play a cool variation on the descending 4's pattern that I came across a couple of years ago that kind of combines some picking and some legato stuff and a little bit less predictable pattern. Check it out. Well, hey there kids, and welcome to a brand new installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Now, I remember many a moon ago whenever I started learning scale patterns and stuff, my teacher told me to practice the classic descending 4's scale pattern, which is where you pick a scale pattern, play down 4 notes, then go back 2 notes in the scale and descend 4 again. Back 2, descend 4, back 2, and so on. And I'll be honest with you guys, I messed with that thing for hours and hours and hours, and it kind of always kicked my ass. There's so much like inside picking stuff in there, and frankly after just a few repetitions of it, it starts to sound kind of like an exercise, so it's sort of uncool to use it in your solo sometimes. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to play a variation that I made up on the descending 4's pattern several years ago. I guess you could say I kind of came up with it partially because of my picking ineptitude, but also from my craving to find stuff that sounds a little bit more interesting and less predictable in the world of scale sequences. But as always, before we get into it, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. And as always, you guys can find full tabs for this lesson over on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitar. Search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 233. Find the tabs, learn how to play it, then upload a video of yourself shredding through it along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. Downloadable tabs as well as a special supplementary lesson showing you guys how to take this concept through an ascending scale pattern are available to my patrons over on patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. So today's lick is based around the A Lydian scale. You could say that that's the 4th mode of the E major scale, or you could say it's just like an A major scale, only with a raised 4. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Either way is totally fine. The scale pattern that I'm using to play this lick is a 3-note per string one that actually starts on the 7th degree of the scale. So in other words, it doesn't start here on A, it starts right behind it here on G sharp. So let me show you guys the scale pattern first, that way you can be familiar with it before we start getting into the lick. I'm playing 4, 5, 7 on the low E, 4, 6, 7 on the A, same thing on the D, 4, 6, 7. On the G, play 4, 6, 8. On the B, play 5, 7, 9. And on the high E, play 5, 7, 9. So that's 4, 5, 7, 4, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7, 4, 6, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9. I recommend take some time in playing that ascending and descending, just so that you're getting familiar with it before we start tackling the lick. Okay, so to start off with here, you're going to play the 9 on the high E with a downstroke, the 7 with an upstroke, and then pull off to the 5 on the high E. And then play the 9 on the B string with a downstroke. So it's down, up, pull, down. Be sure to follow the picking instructions and the placement of the pull-offs and stuff really closely throughout this, or else it'll be a lot harder to play and get momentum going with your speed. And it'll also just kind of lose that cool, combined picking and legato sound that guys like Eddie Van Halen and Paul Gilbert and a lot of my other heroes have with their fast licks. I've just kind of always liked that textural combination of the aggressive picked notes and those, whipping sound and pull-offs. I've always liked that sound, so be sure to follow all those things really closely throughout here. So after you play that first phrase, what I want you to do is just to go back 1 note in the scale here to the 5 on the high E. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that note with an upstroke, then I'm going to go to the B string and play 9 with the down, 7 with the up, and then pull off to 5. Okay, so it's down, up, pull, down, up, pull. I'll say that again because that's the whole lick, you know, in a nutshell. Down, up, pull, down, up, pull. One more time. Down, up, pull, down, up, pull. I recommend just practicing it a few times in a row like that before you move on to the next part of the lick. Really get that in your hands and feel the groove that you're playing there. So after that first phrase, we're going to play the same idea but starting from the B string. So we're going to play 9 with the down, 7 with up, pull to 5. Then you're going to go to the G, and I'm going to use my ring finger here to play this note. I'm going to play the 8 here on the G with a downstroke. And then I'm going to go back here to the 5B with an up. Then on the G string here, play down on the 8, up on the 6, pull off to the 4. So that series went. So notice the first time I hit this D sharp note, it was with my 3rd finger. Then the second time, it was with my 4th finger. That's to facilitate that little position change we got right there. See how it's in the 5th position, then the 4th position. Saw my 1st finger creep down right there. So be sure to go from 3rd to 4th, just like that. Now we're going to do the G string here. We're going to play 8, 6, pull to 4. Then we're going to go here to 7 on the D. Then the second part of the phrase here, 4th on the G. Then on the D, play 7, 6, pull to 4. Then on the D string here, we're going to play 7, 6, pull to 4. A7, back to that D4. And then on the A string here, play 7, 6, pull to 4. And then lastly here, we're going to play from the A string, 7, 6, pull to 4, 7th on the E. And then you're going to go back to the A string 4, pick 7, 5, pull to 4 on the E, and then I resolve by hitting the root note, the 5th fret on the E string, which is our A note. And that's the entire lick. And again, like I said, it's just that one concept, just walking through the scale. So think of it as going from E to B, B to G, G to D, D to A to E. I love that Lydian sound. And again, that sequence is just a little less predictable and exercisey sounding than the regular old descending 4's pattern. And because there's so much legato and no inside picking, you know, going from downs to ups on a lower string, it's just easier to play fast, you guys. It's really a win-win. It sounds cooler and it's easier to play. In summary, this lick is nice. And I like things that are nice. Be sure to take this idea and apply it to other 3-note per string scale shapes you know, like maybe a B mix a Lydian or something. And also try mixing up the phrasing, like instead of going straight down like we did today, maybe go straight down a few strings and then backtrack a set of strings, you know? Or throw in some position shifts and stuff like I did there towards the end of the lick. Variety is the spice of life after all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for brand new lessons coming at you every single week. If you like what you see and want more exclusive bonus content, be sure to follow me over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. You guys can also track me down on Instagram at Ben Eller Guitars or on Facebook at facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. Also, if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me, be sure to drop me an email, benellerguitars@gmail.com. Thanks again for tuning in. Now get away from your doggone computer and go play some dang old guitar. Less clicking, more picking.